You are staring at a simple task on your desk, yet your body feels like it is made of lead. Your mind is screaming at you to just start, but the connection between thought and action is severed. You scroll through your phone for hours, not because you are enjoying it, but because you are paralyzed. This is the crushing weight of being a former gifted child who has finally hit the wall of burnout. For years, you were told that your potential was limitless and that success was your only natural habitat. The world looked at your high grades and decided that you were simply built to perform without effort. But what they called potential was actually a nervous system forced into a state of chronic high performance. You didn't just study, you operated under the subconscious belief that your worth was tied to your output. Society calls your current state laziness, lack of discipline, or a sudden loss of your ambition and drive. They tell you to just find your spark, as if your biological exhaustion were merely a choice of attitude. The objective truth is that you are experiencing a profound collapse of your internal biological regulatory systems. This is not a character flaw. It is a state of physiological bankruptcy, known as functional freeze. Your nervous system has spent decades in a state of hypervigilance, constantly scanning for any sign of failure. In your childhood, being gifted often meant that you had to sacrifice your authentic needs to meet expectations. This created a survival equation where being perfect was the only way to feel safe and seen. Now, as an adult, the complexity of life has made that perfectionistic survival strategy impossible to maintain. When you face a task today, your brain does not see a to-do list. It perceives a threat. It views the possibility of being average as a total loss of identity and a danger to safety. Your prefrontal cortex is currently overwhelmed by alarm signals from the deeper regions of your survival brain. Instead of fighting or fleeing, your brain has chosen the oldest survival mechanism in history. It has shut down. This is a dorsal vagal response, a biological maneuver designed to preserve what little energy remains. The more you try to hustle through this state, the more your brain perceives you as a threat. Pressing the gas pedal when the engine is already smoking only leads to a permanent mechanical failure. Resting while feeling guilty is not resting. It's just another form of high-stress internal rumination. You are trapped in a loop where your intellect demands progress, but your biology demands a complete cessation. This conflict creates a state of executive dysfunction where the commander of your brain cannot reach the soldiers. You might find yourself cleaning the entire house just to avoid writing a single paragraph of a report. This is productive procrastination, a desperate attempt to prove your worth while avoiding the thing that terrifies you. Your brain thinks that if you don't try, you can't technically fail at being the person you once were. This self-sabotage is actually a distorted form of self-protection against the unbearable shame of being human. You have been living in a high-functioning state for so long that you forgot how to exist without goals. Every hobby you started had to become a side hustle or a skill you had to master immediately. You lost the ability to play because play has no objective, and your system only recognizes survival. The chronic stress of this lifestyle has likely manifested in physical symptoms like brain fog or digestive issues. Your body is finally speaking the no that your mind was too afraid to utter for years. The gifted label was a cage, and the burnout you feel right now is the door being forced open. You were never a genius. You were just a child who learned to trade peace for external validation. This trade-off has left your emotional bank account with a massive, unpayable debt of suppressed stress. When you hit this wall, the shame you feel is the primary obstacle to your biological recovery. Shame keeps you in a state of sympathetic arousal, preventing the body from entering a state of repair. You cannot think your way out of a physiological shutdown that was caused by too much thinking. The intellectualization of your pain is just another defense mechanism to avoid feeling the terror of being stuck. In your mind, being normal is a fate worse than death because you were never taught to be ordinary. You have been mourning a version of yourself that was never sustainable and was largely a social construct. Your academic pedigree has become a heavy anchor that prevents you from swimming towards safety. Your brain is currently prioritizing survival over the completion of your mundane adult responsibilities and daily chores. This is why you can spend 4 hours looking at a wall while your inbox fills with requests. The urgent signals of the outside world are being drowned out by the critical signals of your system. You are not broken. You are simply a highly sophisticated biological machine that has run out of coolant. No amount of caffeine or grit can replace the fundamental need for a regulated and balanced nervous system. You are likely suffering from chronic over-control, a state where you never allow yourself to lose focus. This constant grip on reality is exhausting the very neural pathways you need to be creative. The gifted child is often the parentified child, taking on emotional labor they were never meant to carry. This early exposure to responsibility has wired your brain to treat every task as a life or death event. You are now living in the aftermath of a childhood spent in a state of functional freeze. Your current inability to work is actually your body's first honest attempt at setting a healthy boundary. It is saying enough, even when your conscious mind is too terrified to admit you are tired. The feeling of being behind in life is a hallucination created by comparing internal reality to an ideal. There is no track to be on. There is only the current state of your physiological capacity. When that capacity is zero, any effort to push forward is simply an act of profound self-violence. To heal, you must learn to experience the discomfort of doing nothing without attaching a story of failure. You must sit with the anxiety of being unproductive until the nervous system realizes it is not dying. This is the process of titration, slowly introducing small amounts of reality back into your regulated system. You cannot jump back into a 40-hour workweek from a state of total dorsal vagal collapse. Your recovery will be slow, non-linear, and extremely frustrating to your achievement-oriented and perfectionist ego. You will have days where you feel back to normal, only to crash again the following afternoon. This is the body testing the waters of safety, seeing if you will push it too hard again. If you betray your body by overworking now, the shutdown will return with even greater force. You must build a secure base within yourself that does not depend on what you achieved today. This involves radical acceptance of the fact that you might never be that high achiever again. And that is not a loss, it is an evolution toward a more sustainable way of living. Your value is inherent in your existence, not in your utility to the economy or family pride. The potential that everyone talked about was a debt you never actually signed up to pay back. You are allowed to be low potential if it means you get to be a happy human being. Stop looking for the old you, because that person was a product of high-stress adaptation and fear. The new you will be slower, more deliberate, and much more protective of your internal peace. This transition requires you to grieve the loss of the special identity you were given as a child. Grief is the only way through the wall of shame that keeps you stuck in the freeze response. Let yourself cry for the child who wasn't allowed to be messy or mediocre without consequence. Let yourself feel the anger toward a system that valued your grades more than your nervous system. As the anger and grief pass, the freeze will begin to thaw into a state of flow. But this flow will not be the frantic, desperate energy of your youth. It will be calm. You will learn to work from a place of ventral vagal safety rather than sympathetic fear. This shift is the ultimate goal of maturity for the former gifted child who has hit burnout. You are learning to navigate the world without using survival mode as your primary engine or fuel. This is a profound recalibration of your entire experience of being alive on this planet right now. It will feel like you are moving in slow motion compared to everyone else, and that's okay. The world is addicted to the very stress that broke you, and you are simply choosing to opt out. Your productivity will return, but it will be a byproduct of your health, not a sacrifice of it. Forgive yourself for every day you spent doing nothing while your mind was at war with itself. Those days were not wasted, they were the necessary silence of a biological system trying to reboot. You are secure now, even if you are not doing anything that the world considers valuable. Your secure base is built in the moments where you choose your peace over your impossible perfection. Take a breath and feel the weight of the gifted crown finally leaving your tired head. The person you are right now is enough to be loved, respected, and kept safe from harm. The war for your worth is over, and you are the only one still holding the weapon. Lay it down, walk away from the desk, and let yourself simply exist in the quiet and peace. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your actual, authentic life. You are finally free to be human now, without the weight of expectations on your shoulders. The world can wait while you learn how to live for yourself instead of living for your potential.